But y'all ready for y'all next act? Y'all, come on, man. Y'all ready for y'all next act? There we go. Give me that go-go vibe, son. That's that Communion Sunday vibe. You know Communion Sunday, that's the day you get paid. So why fall on that day? Okay, we got the Q&A. Different world, where you at, good man? Different world. You took a bathroom break?
Right here, bro.
I think about good man right there. You gotta step back. I gotta find you now. You ain't got no coming out music, no little theme music, right? Some nice shit. You just got motherfuckers walking on the stage. How y'all doing, Charles? You ready? Handle your business, bro. We're gonna drop something for you. Okay. So, different world, BG. I met you. How many years ago, bro? It was like
about a year and a half.
A year and a half?
Some change.
Alright, so a year and a half with some change. I met my man, Different World BG. Creative consultant in a whole bunch of different lanes. So if y'all don't know already, I got a landscaping business. And I initially brought him in to help me kind of rebrand my landscaping and think outside the box, as you can see on the hat, Different World. So he has a different type of vibe to everything he do. So I use this dude at least 2 to 3 times a week, and I'm on a subscription program. It's to where I can reach out to him if I'm having any issues in business or just having a little moment where I can't really deliver as far as like creativity. So without further ado, Different World BG, tell them what you got going.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. How y'all doing tonight? So basically, just to cut right to it, what I do is I help businesses, large and small, nationwide and some global, harvest the windfall profit that they're not seeing. Basically, there's 10 to maybe $1 million of asset or money or dollars in every business, and most businesses aren't realizing because either there are undervalued assets, there are underutilized relationships, there are undervalued opportunities. And so when I meet with my clients and I meet with these businesses, what I help them do is discover those opportunities and monetize them. So as Rel said, we've been working together for a long time. We first started working with SML and transitioned into That's a Plug also. And just throughout the whole process, it's been real beautiful because the growth of a brand is really like a child. And when you start off putting, your time, money, and resources into it, it can really drain you. So Rel already had one business going strong, and for him to start another one is really commendable. So can everybody give Rel a round of applause right there? And secondly, what I think is real honorable too is that he is invested in you, the audience, right now. To participate in this Q&A. So I see a lot of entrepreneurs on the line right there. It may be some entrepreneurs in the crowd, and maybe some people who are interested in starting a business, but maybe don't know where to start, maybe have an idea, but they don't know how to monetize it, or maybe sitting on a gem that just needs some brushing up. So I want to open the floor to some questions, entrepreneurs, non-entrepreneurs. If you have any questions about your business, about your brand, how to increase the awareness, how to increase the revenue, how to increase the efficiency of your business, ask away. Now's your chance.
But hold on, before you go into it, it's some real shit. Pause. This guy right here charges $311 an hour. This guy right here charges $311 an hour.
That's what you're supposed to
Check
do.
this out. So look. Use this time wisely, you know what I'm saying? Ask, go away, man. So we not in elementary school no more. We ain't scared to ask questions, right? Alright, fire off, man. Who got something? Any questions? Creative questions? Anybody entrepreneur? Can I get some hands?
What you got?
What's your Instagram?
At Different World. No vowels.
Good question. Entrepreneurs, raise your hands.
Where did you start at? Before you were $300 an hour, where did you start?
I started at 100.
Why did you increase?
Why did I start at 100?
Why did you increase?
Because I was offering more value to my clients. So one thing that I think is important to understand is the value exchange, right? So when you're doing commerce, when you're doing business, it's really an exchange of energy. It's an exchange of value. So when let's take this example, right? So when RELD purchases my services, I need to provide him with enough value, not just enough, even more value, so that he keeps coming back and he remains a client as he has for the past few years. So in terms of value, if you can keep offering more value to your end user, and when I say end user, that really means your customer, right? When you can offer more value to your customer, then you can charge a premium price.
Another question.
How did you know what your evaluation was? Like, where did it begin? Because, I mean, nowadays with the technology world, the media, with YouTube, pretty much YouTube anything. So how did you place the value on yourself when you were first starting? How did you know that what you had to offer was of value?
Definitely. I guess initially you look at it from a scarcity perspective. And so I was working out in LA, I was living out in LA, and I came back to DC. And this was a time when they were just on the start of this whole creative economy movement, right? So basically changing everything. And I saw this opportunity to kind of set roots and plant seeds into helping some of these businesses either stay afloat or helping some of these businesses revitalize themselves, refresh themselves, so to speak. And I knew the going rate in the competitive markets. So you got to look at the New York markets, you got to look at the Los Angeles markets, Miami even, when you're dealing in advertising and branding, because those are the heaviest markets. So I based my fee structure, I based the value that I'm offering the clients based on those corresponding areas.
Were you scared to go up on price?
No, never.
I was never scared to go up on price?
I was never scared because as long as you're offering the value that matches the price, you should be good. And your customer should be good too, because you should explain the value to them in the transaction.
What happened when you lost customers when you went up on prices? 'Cause I know you lost a couple.
Yeah. You know, they asked to come back, but you know, when you move up, you can't move back down, right? So it's just part of the game, right? You got to outgrow certain experiences. I started off working with real small businesses, still do small businesses, but corporate clients as well, nonprofit clients as well. So that just goes to speak, like one goes down, two goes down, you got to diversify your bonds, right? You got to diversify your portfolio.
Good question. Yeah. Any other questions? Questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so my name is Solid. I own a salon in
Lock Love Salon, best salon in DC. Yeah, Capitol Hill. That's a pair.
I own a salon in Capitol Hill, and we were just featured in Essence Magazine as one of the top 3 shops in the country.
Right.
And I'm looking into now moving into Atlanta, which is probably going to happen around July this year. So I was, thinking about what my question would be, and I realized we don't need a whole lot when it comes to here, but when it comes to moving into this new area that I'm not familiar with, just like I wasn't familiar with DC when I came here, what would you say are some of like the first step things? How should I utilize, because sometimes when you get that kind of
Exposure.
publicity and exposure, I've heard businesses say, oh yeah, we use that as a springboard, but it's like figuring out, other than like posting it on like social media, what do you do? I don't know anything about
Here's what you do.
that market.
Step 1, what are your business goals relative to that specific market? So if you're considering moving into ATL, what are your revenue goals per that move, right? How does that affect headquarters right back here? So step 1 is, what are your revenue earning goals for this move? Once you identify that, you'll be able to backtrack. I sometimes call this the millionaire math, but you'll be able to backtrack and figure out what level of time, money, and resources you need to put into either expanding the awareness of this article or maybe some other strategies and then tactics that can move you faster from point A to point B. That make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So essentially what you're saying is figuring out what tool, to be it the article or anything else, to really put us on the market there. But you also said the last part.
So essentially, if you wanted to make, say, you wanted to make $500K from an Atlanta move, then you would backtrack from that $500K and say, we have this story as an asset. The asset is basically built for awareness or publicity, right? Public relations. So you need to make sure that as many people as possible see that story, right? To the point that you can make a conversion, right? It's very important everybody understand. Advertising think the first rule of advertising is get people's attention. One, do I have your attention? Two, would you like to hear more? So the first step you need to do is get people's attention using that asset. Once you get their attention, you need to convert it to either a sale of some sort, a special, them booking, you said a hair salon, so booking an appointment, something of that sort.
Okay, yep, okay.
Yes, sir.
So when someone's starting out with their business, would you recommend them legitimizing the business, making an LLC first, or starting the business and gaining awareness first?
It depends. What are your business goals?
As far as creative event curating and processes like that, something in that regards.
How much you trying to make?
On the particular event? Or
per year?
Per year? I mean, trying to see between 50K.
Okay, so I would backtrack from 50K. It's the same formula, right? Backtrack from 50K, right? See what your specific goals are, right? 50K is just the, that top goal. You're gonna have you're gonna have a strategy, then you're gonna have tactics underneath that strategy. All of those are gonna cost you time, money, and resources, right? So it may cost, if it costs you 25 to get to the 50K, that might not be worth it for you, right? But if it costs you 10, that might be worth it. So I'll first really itemize your business goals. Earn 50K is one thing, do events in a certain region, have a certain amount of attendees show up. All of those goals, you should correlate into your overall strategy.
And then would you say that you need to have your LLC first or get the product going first?
Well, if you got a strong product, LLC is, I suggest you get a proof of concept first, right? So get some experience, get 2 or 3 case studies that you can show, hey, look, my service works, my product works. Then LLC, because that's going to run you about 800 to 1K. You do LegalZoom.com, you can get it for 800. You're probably going to pay an extra 200 in lawyer fees. You had a stack, so you got to have that money ready also.
Hey, just from my experience, I would say do the business first, like do the work first. The LLC is just a piece of paper for real. You know what I'm saying? Like when I started landscaping in 2013. I went out there and did it, you know what I'm saying? And I built the business based off of me actually going to do it. I could have got an LLC, it cost $220, down DCRA, anybody can get that shit. But you got to put in the work, you got to know what the hell you're doing first before you say you're a business. DC gonna still take your money, they still gonna tax you, but if you don't know what you're doing, it ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying, it ain't gonna work out the shit. So do the work first, I would say, from my opinion, and then you can LLC it up until you die. You can have 5, 6 of them jumps and not do nothing, but do something first and then go.
Agreed.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
So, what made you do this? And then my second question is like, do you use word of mouth and then do you use social media or do you combine both?
You said, how did I start, or why did I want to start this? So I got interested in branding because basically, if you look at all the advertisement that's out right now that show people that look like us, we don't control those advertisements. We don't really control, for the most part, how we look in the public. Say for Instagram and posting our own stuff. So I wanted to work to sort of reclaim that. All the ad agencies are owned and run by people that don't look like us, yet they're profiting off of our image and our culture. So that's how I got interested in initially. Do I use social media? Yes. In terms of growing my business, I rely more on clients though, because I work on referral only. So unless you're a past client of mine, it's unlikely that we'll work together because my clients refer new business to me perpetually. And that's per my investment into the client experience. So that's why I think it's very important that you guys can offer as much value as possible to your clients, to your users, because they are the gas to your engine, to this entrepreneurial engine. Yes, ma'am.
How many no's did you get before the yes?
How many no's did I get before the yes? No is it's really a state of mind, right? Because when somebody tells you no, they could be possibly acting out of their own fear. They could be acting out of too little information. They could be a number. They could be having a bad day. So part of being an entrepreneur is being a salesperson, right? And being a salesperson means you essentially don't give up, right? You hear no's,
you don't take no's in.
Right. You just pivot and move to something else. So it was tons of no's. It was tons of no's. You know, no's from corporations, no's from government.
He get
no's
no's from me sometimes. I still work with him because he do good work, but I be telling this nigga no. Like, nah, fuck that.
Right, but you just gotta roll with it. You know.
Then I end up working with him at the end, so it'd be like, you know.
Value.
Go ahead. Great.
It's me?
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. So let's say, like, before you put something out there, you're popular in a different type of, you know what I'm saying, whether it's your personality, whatever the case may be. You go to college, high school, whatever it is, you popping, right? But now you want to pop out with something that you got a passion for. How do you go about that? Because they may be feeling you on a different type of time, like, oh, you're lit, she's lit, he's lit, you know what I'm saying? But now they want to do this, and they kind of like, whether they sleeping on it or not, like, how do you approach that? Like, how do you let them know, like, yo, like, I got this coming, there's a vibe, you might want to stay tuned. You feel me? Like,
I think I'm gonna just start what he gonna say, cause he gonna bring it home. But I think once people fuck with you, they fuck with you. Like, cause people mess with you first before the brand. Like, they gonna mess with you first. So, what do you think about that? And then take it home.
Yeah, I think well, one, let's also make this distinction, right? A brand. How many people know what a brand is by raising hands? How many people know what a brand is? All right. Now, how many people know that a brand is not the logo? All right. So you already know the brand is actually the gut feeling that people have about your product or service after they interact with it, right? So it's emotions. We're dealing with emotions here. That's what advertising is. That's what branding is. So the first thing is to get a lock on that, on your brand, on your personal brand. To do that, you need to know your brand attributes, right? Who you are, what's your voice, what's your value, how do you sound to others, right? Then you need to know who your users are. Again, users are interchangeable with customers. Typically, a business has 1 to 4 different user groups, different customer types, each with different challenges, each with different likes and dislikes. Here's the cheat code. By understanding what those challenges are and then offering up value that meets those challenges, not only meets them but exceeds them, you create a stronger bond with whoever your user is. So you can pull them from this vibe to that vibe. You see what I'm saying? With a strong brand, you know, your force field is impenetrable, so to speak.
pretty much let your product speak for you.
Let your product speak for you, but invest in your branding, right? So invest in making sure that message is clear and understanding
And know who
you're
you selling to.
Right.
Know who you selling. I still struggle with that, cause I just be putting shit out there. Like, you go to That's a Plug, you be like, this nigga just be putting shit out there. Like, some of my shit, especially when I first started, it'd be rocky. You know what I'm saying? The video, the audio might not be all the way there, whatever, but I put shit out there. That's what I do. Like, I'm a hustler by trade and shit, so I know produce. You know what I'm saying? The more you produce, the more you fucking get. So it's shit.
But Rel's also an investor, right? Because this package to do this brand strategy that I do starts at $3,500, and he's invested fully. So you know what I'm saying? That's the importance of knowing your value. He knows his value, so he invests so that he can grow larger and larger. Yes, sir.
I'm Reed Energy. I've been doing heat and air conditioning for the last 30 years.
Okay.
My point to you is what is your take on telling the new entrepreneurs how to conceive taxes in their overall planning and how to approach taxes, knowing that for every dollar that you make, Uncle Sam literally wants 30 cents of it. How do you incorporate that into your overall strategy, either to avoid paying that 30 cents every dollar or actually paying that 30 cents on every dollar and moving forward?
So here's what I do, and I share this with all my clients, right? I'm a firm believer that if it's not your specialty, don't try and do it, right? Because the leverage in going from imbecilic to average, there's no leverage in that. So I personally hire an accountant. I hire a financial team. I have them take care of those extremely important assets of operations, right? I myself focus on what my expertise is. So that goes to the importance of having a strong team, right? But just the same that advice I would give, and this is not financial advice by any means, but what I would suggest is, and this is something I would do personally, you just set aside your paper. So every time you do a deal, I always cut up my money. So some goes into next investments, some goes into expenses, you know, tax expenses, office expenses, some goes into new products, etc. I always suggest cut up your money and have that situated so you can do what you need to do.
So, just because we're in the same industry, we both in the labor force, right? So, you say heating and AC, you still do it? Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, me personally, I pass everything to the customer. Like, everything, every expense got to get passed to the customer in some type of way, first of all. Taxes is a real thing. They get taxed too, tax your customers. It's a sales tax when they jump. That's where Uncle Sam's money goes. But to piggyback on what he said about knowing your strengths, what you got to focus on, I had to learn that because when I came into landscaping, I was doing everything. So I made the flyers. I fucking went door to door passing them out. I was the marketing dude. I did my own books. I still do. But like over time, I had to grow. So I got 6 people under me right now that do work. I still shout out to a couple of one of my employees in the corner over there. But I still do the work, but I had to outsource. So I outsourced labor, first of all. Then I got a secretary. I outsourced that because I don't need, you can't do both. Like, you know what I mean? You can't do the work and the books at the same time and be efficient. You can do both, but when your business gets to a certain point, you gotta learn when to outsource. It's the hardest thing in the world to do because don't nobody know your shit better than you, and you feel like you're gonna do everything right, You will, but you won't get it done on time, and that shit won't look as good as you think it's gonna look at the end of the day. So, that's my take. Next.
Any last questions? Yes, ma'am.
So I work in like word of mouth advertising, so I have to get out there and talk to different people. What's your advice on getting outside of like our culture? It's easy to talk to, you know, us, but how do I reach outside of my culture?
One, travel. You know what I'm saying? Definitely travel. Again, pinpoint. I got a long time ago, I got in the practice of doing something, it's called a business cartography map, right? And it's basically a chart that I have. I got one in DC, and I put little pins on all the different small businesses, all the different mom and pops businesses, because these are all targets. You know what I'm saying? So I would really itemize who you're going after, who you want to meet, see where they live. You can do basic research.
What's the website they can do that at? I forgot what it's called. Ain't it a Google program or something?
Yeah, Google works.
Analytics or something? Not analytics.
Yeah, if you have analytics on your own stuff, that works. But if you want to really be in the field, you got to really go in the physical. And you'll find, if you're in the creative industry specifically, New York, Los Angeles is completely different than DC. They almost welcome you in, whereas DC is more so politics and government.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody else? Any questions? Go ahead.
Like, for the support, how was that? Trying to get it out there.
Don't depend on it, period. Like, me personally, I don't depend on nobody's support. When I started landscaping, so I used to hustle. I was a hustler, if you don't know. I hustled. I sold tree, I sold coke, I sold a lot of stuff. That's what I did by trade, you know what I mean? But I didn't have no support landscaping because, like, nigga, you 22, you got dreads, you black, you're not landscaping shit. I'm like, watch me. And then even family, they was like, okay, you need to go work for a company first. You need to go do this first. You need to learn it first. I'm like, no, I'm about to fucking learn it while I'm doing it, while I'm working for myself. So I did, and I'm 6 years in. So support is love. It's lovely to have. You know what I mean? It's a good thing to have when you get it around you. Cherish it for real, because it don't gotta be there. It's not a must in this game. We don't get support. It's entrepreneurship. We solo for real. At the end of the night, you go to sleep by yourself, even if you buy your partner type shit. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, entrepreneurship, it's a hard road sometimes. You know, you can't really depend on anybody but yourself and your team that you invest in. In terms of support though, I'm a firm believer too that if you, again, back to the value thing, if you give out value, then it's gonna come back to you. So if you can give out your service at a certain level, do that. So like one of the things, I started a podcast, right? The podcast was based on business information. It's called Business Boost. That alone brought in different clients. So it's like you give out stuff for free, sometimes you get some stuff back.
And then I got another question. Like, when it got hard, did y'all want to quit or?
Nah, I like waking up doing what I want to do. I like being able to travel, make my own moves, so now.
I thought about it, but I never did. Like, I thought about it for like split seconds though. I thought about it for like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30, no longer than that, because then I realized the alternative. The alternative is, if they want to let you go, you gone. You know what I'm saying? You're working for somebody else. But at the same time, I'm the type of person that, you know what I mean, so I'm a bossy type motherfucker. Like, if people be telling me, I don't realize it, they be like, you just told me what to do. I was like, but did it make sense? And then, you know, it makes sense. But I don't like to answer to people to a certain level. I ask for advice all day. If you know me, I ask for advice all day. But I don't like to answer to people, and I don't like he said that was bro. Nah, but I don't like my being in fiber depending on somebody else. Like, I don't know. So that stopped me from quitting all the time. Couple more questions, y'all. Couple more questions. We about to wrap it up. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask both of you this question. So, when you have a person that's interested in joining your business, are you able to distinguish the difference between them actually bringing value, or are they just bringing an idea? Because there's a difference between a business and a hobby.
Joining in what capacity? Like as a team member or partner?
It can be a team member. Someone says, hey, I like what you do. For example, do landscaping. And they have no landscaping skills whatsoever. Do you train them and teach them?
They're the best employees, ones that know nothing. But they're trainable, and you can teach them how to do the shit the way you want them to do it. That's the best people. Because people that know what they're doing already, that's not every case, I think. Not every case, but people that know what they're doing tend to already be set in their ways. So you gotta untrain them, first of all. If they're doing it the wrong way, you gotta untrain them, and then you gotta train them your way. And that's harder to do, that's more steps. So if you got somebody that don't know shit, but they got the passion to do it, they gonna come out for you. They gonna come through.
And do you pay them the same hourly rate if they come with no experience whatsoever, opposed to a person that has experience? Do they still get the same hourly rate?
They start off lower. I do anyway. They start off lower, but they gotta show their value. So if you do $13 an hour work, you're getting paid $13 an hour. If you work there for 2 weeks or a month, probably month and a half, couple months, you doing $20 an hour work, you should probably pay that person $20 an hour. Because somebody gonna see it and they gonna pay them that $20 an hour. You lost a good employee. But that employee, you gotta show it, and you gotta make it clear as a business owner that I need $20 an hour work. You know what I mean? Can you do it? And then see what they do.
Nah, I don't have much to add to that. Rev got more of a hiring team than I would, so for projects that I use, I got a small team of about 3, right? A designer, videographer, web programmer. So we got a real small team, that's why we're able to move so nimbly. For me, in the design world, it's a little bit different. You got people ranging from hundreds of dollars an hour in terms of their design fees to, maybe $50 an hour. And so I just base it off of their portfolio and their work. Again, purely off of the value that they can bring to the project, and that's it.
And so how much time, because I appreciate you asking those questions so clearly, but it kind of puts me into another question of, so how long do you wait to see their value? If they come with a portfolio and then you realize you're not who you say you are,
right,
do you let them go?
Yeah. Just that fast. Yeah. No, right.
No. So here's the shot that I give him, right? So let's say, so with him, it might be somebody he's trying to hire. For me, it might be a prospective client, somebody who's interested in my services, right? You basically got to weed people out. To do that, I came up with an application process. So when people want to work with me, I say, sure, no problem. Who referred you is the first question. If they got a referral, then I say, can you fill out the application? If they go through the application, I know they're serious. If I receive the alert that the application's been filled out and I can see all the information, I know they're ready to move. So those are the indicators I use as part of a vetting process, because otherwise you waste a lot of time with people who are really not about it.
Thank you very much.
Alright, on that note, so look, out of them questions, we got a lot of insight into who's in the room. So talk to each other, man. Like, we got a stigma around our people that we don't network, we don't talk to each other, especially in this area, in DC, DMV, whatever you want to call it.
We also forgot to mention, Rel's doing y'all another solid, and if y'all peep on the Instagram stories right now, he's sponsoring 20% off of any consultation y'all would want to have.
20% off, man.
So
it's worth it.
Use the code on the Instagram if you want to holler at me, and we can make something happen.
It's on your Instagram?
It's on the Instagram. It's Tap to Business Boost. 20% off.
That's the code?
That's the code.
Tap to Business Boost. Is that a number or a word?
The number 2. So it's right on the stories. Of course, anybody can holler at me right after this too.
Shout out your IG again.
It's at Different World. That's DFFRNT WRLD.
Take advantage, man. I'm telling y'all. But take advantage of everybody that's in the room. We're about to take a quick intermission, about 15 minutes, and we're gonna get back to it. We got another live performance coming to you live, man.